Two Russian missiles hit a restaurant in the center of Kramatorsk in eastern Ukraine, killing at least 10 people, including a child. The strikes also left over 60 other people injured. Ukrainian police claim that Russia fired two S-300 surface-to-air missiles at the city. The strike took place in mid-evening at a popular shopping plaza, raising fears of a high number of civilian casualties. Ria Pizza, the restaurant which was hit, is especially popular among foreign journalists who often use it as an office. The Kremlin says it only hits targets in Ukraine that are somehow linked to the military. A video released by a man rushing to the aid of survivors showed injured people being assisted and the bystanders removing rubble as they searched for survivors believed to be trapped under the debris. Condemning the attack, here's what President Zelensky said earlier.
Today, Russian terrorists also brutally shelled Kramatorsk. S-300 missiles. 3 people were killed, including a child. My condolences to the families and friends. As of this hour, more than 40 people are injured. Assistance is being provided to all. The rubble is being cleared. Each such manifestation of terror proves over and over again to us and to the whole world that Russia deserves only one thing as a result of everything it has done: defeat and a tribunal, fair and legal trials against all Russian murderers and terrorists.
За наслідками усього, що вона наробила, поразку та трибунал, справедливі та законні суди.
Kramatorsk, once a city of 150,000 inhabitants, is the last major urban center under Ukrainian control in the east of the country. It lies about 30 kilometers from the front line. Greg Swenson is an international affairs expert. He is joining us live from London. Greg, great to see you and welcome to the program. We are seeing an escalation in the war in Ukraine. We are also seeing more civilian infrastructure like restaurants being targeted by Russian forces. This is not a good sign, is it?
No, of course not. It's not a good sign at all. And I suppose we shouldn't be surprised given the activity over the weekend with the failed coup attempt. And it looks like, the Russian military and Putin are responding with more carnage and with more complete disregard for human life and civilians. On maybe a more positive note, the UK Minister of Defense department said that Ukrainian forces have actually retook Krasnohorivka over the weekend, just outside of the eastern city of Donetsk. And so I think, they too are exploiting the chaos of the weekend. The Ukrainians are as well, but they're doing it by traditional, or shall we say at least some kind of military action, following the rules of engagement, the rules of war, the Geneva Conventions, whereas the Russians have completely abandoned any pretense that they have any regard for human life. And this is just another example. And particularly that they chose a restaurant well known to journalists and frequented by journalists. Again, complete disregard for freedom of the press. They've been imprisoned. They've imprisoned a Wall Street Journal, Evan Gersovich, for months now, and without any legitimate charges, obviously. And so this is just another step in towards more chaos, and it's really a shame.
Greg, the attention did briefly turn to the botched Wagner mutiny in the past week, but the conflict in Ukraine continues. What is the impact, or what impact do you think the aborted rebellion had on Ukraine, for instance?
Yeah, if anything, Eric, great question. If anything, it probably emboldens Ukraine. I think it's helped with support around the world, or at least in the West, for Ukraine. And it shows that Putin right now is not an image of strength for Putin. It's really more of an image of a falling empire. And so, these are desperations, or desperate moves made by what looks to be a leader who's worried about his inner circle, who's worried about his own strength and power, but also worried about the outcome of this war. And it looks, if anything, more like Ukraine is doing well and holding up here. That doesn't mean that I would suggest that they keep this, war of attrition going on. I think if anything, I hope that they don't feel like escalation will help their cause. I do think there has to be some compromise at some point. Either way, again, I wouldn't advocate appeasement, but on the other hand, more civilians dying is not what anyone wants to see.
Greg Swenson, thank you very much for talking to WION Wild is One today.
Thanks, Eric.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.